Wholesalers, marketing your property with your listing agent may make or break your closing. Hi, I'm KB, and I've been closing deals for over 20 years, including over 200 novation of contracts. In today's video, I want to show you how a listing agreement and a purchase offer should be properly completed so that you don't break your transaction when it's time to close. All right, before I get into showing you this, let's bring you up to speed. So at this point, you have been direct to seller, you've locked up a contract with an equity buyer's program or a equity protection or a retail buyer or a white glove concierge service, whatever you choose to call it. You've executed that document, you've vetted an agent, the agent has gone out to the property, taken the photos that are necessary and brought you back feedback, and you are ready to execute that listing agreement with the agent. Now you're going to instruct the agent to draft a listing agreement and send it over to you. And this is where things get super critical to make sure that the listing agreement carries through correctly to the purchase offer, which is going to carry through to the agents, the lender, and the title company. Now, I'm going to give a disclaimer here. You cannot do novation of contract as an exit strategy on the flat fee MLS. It is in fact illegal. Stop doing it. Whoever's telling you to do it, stop doing it. You need to have a listing agent, a full service listing agent, that you sign and execute a listing agreement, or even better, you have the seller, depending on your process, fill out the listing agreement as part of your contractual program explanation. Now, for the purpose of today's video, I am going to fill out a listing agreement, but I want to make it very clear to you, you will not be filling out the listing agreement. Your agent needs to fill it out, but I need you to understand what it should look like so that you can properly instruct your listing agent when it comes time to doing this paperwork in your transaction. Clear? Capiche? All good? 2 thumbs up? Awesome. All right, let's get into it. Again, for this purpose and for this purpose only, I am acting as if I was the listing agent filling this out, and I'm doing it live so that I can be the editor on it, and then I would be sending it to the wholesaler or you as the client, and I'll show you both pieces of that. So let's get started here. The first thing you want to do is the seller's name. So the seller is John Smith, okay? And then you want your property in here, 123 Test Street, Mesa, Arizona, 85201. Okay, again, all of this will be in there from the agent. Here's where the listing price will show. So for this one, we're gonna go $279,900. Just a little KB tip for you. When I'm listing properties and I'm working with the listing agent and we're talking about list strategy, wherever the listing agent comes in, I'm always gonna undercut. I always like to be in something like a $279,900 rather than a $280, right? It's essentially $280, but the listing price is really only a strategy. It's only a number to get eyes on a property. It has no bearing on where the deal's actually gonna sell at. So never forget that the listing price is really just a marketing tool. It's not what you can expect to be paid for the property, because it can be plus or minus, and it can be plus or minus. For me, on my terms, when I'm talking to agents, I will agree to a 6-month listing. I will never agree to a year listing because my contract's usually only for 60 or 90 days. And so 6 months is well outside of that anyways. And I always make a verbal agreement in writing, in email, in one of my templates that says, hey, I will agree to 6 months, but please understand that the moment that my contract expires, if we don't get an offer, your listing agreement also has to expire. So we'll go 6 months here. Or really this should be, let's see, we're May, so this is gonna be November 20th, 2026 is how it would be written. You would see the date there. And then I have one more tip for you. With the new NAR settlement that came out, in a listing agreement, we used to write 6% and then we would break it down 3 and 3. If you do not specify that in your listing agreement and you put 6% here, and then the purchase offer comes to you and the buyer is negotiating for you to pay their 3%, which you should in this strategy, you are now paying 9% commission. So if I were you, I would be very, very specific. You are offering 3% to your listing agent and 3% to your co-broke for a total of 6%. So I would put in the listing sale 3% and you are offering a 3% to a co-broke. Okay, you could put 6, but this no longer breaks down the listing agent and the selling agent. So if you don't do it right, you're gonna be on the hook. Remember that what's in writing is what counts, not what you verbally agreed to. And then lastly, and again, I'm still acting as the listing agent here. I am not licensed, so I do not have a real estate license to do these, but I'm doing it here. The seller's name goes here, John Smith. Now, I'm gonna stop here and I'm going to reiterate. Your entity, your LLC entity, and your name do not belong on a listing agreement or a purchase offer. What's going to happen is when you go to sign it, that is when you will invoke your authorization language that you have, and I will show you that when we get ready to execute this. So that's the listing agreement. If you do the listing agreement correctly and have it drafted and signed, then when the buyer's agent prepares and presents a purchase offer, it should in effect come exactly and identical, which means you would have no errors on it, and then you would just need to execute it. So we're gonna do that here just as an added bonus. I've pulled a contract. I Buy Homes LLC. John Smith is the seller. Property was 123 Test Mesa 85201. We listed at 279 and they ended up with an offer at 291. 1, 2, 3. They're putting down $2,500 in earnest money, and I do bad math and shouldn't have done that, so we're just gonna do 1,000 in earnest money, and this makes this 290. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2. Okay, all right, beautiful, beautiful. We have our commas, we have our zeros, we have our periods. You should be verifying that all of that's correct. I didn't do anything with this, and then again down here at Le Bottom, the seller's name here is John Smith. Okay, so we're gonna finish, and then I'm gonna pop back into my email, and now it's gonna be sent to me as if I was you, as if I was the wholesaler. So here's how you should see it come over. You're gonna review the documents. Let's get this back opened, and now you'll see everything printed in here. And we can sign it, and I can show you exactly where you put that language that needs to be on here so that it is executed correctly. We will agree. All right, so now you see everything I typed in all here, good, so we can click start, and it's gonna roll me right down here to the seller's signature. So now when I click on this to sign, I am going to write John Smith by Anthony Montalbano. I'm using him for today. Attorney in fact. And then you would also, obviously you have to set that up for the initials. People miss this all the time. It's JS by AMAIF. Those are your correct initials, okay? Any other variation here is incorrect. If the agent that you're working with is not using like a DocuSign, even a dot loop I think you can edit, and a Signwell, then you can edit on a doc certification, which is another one that realtors use a lot. You will not be able to alter this signature. So ultimately what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to have the agent prepare it just like we did with all the information and then send it to you as a PDF, and you need to put it into something where you can manipulate this signature, because if they type this in, this is what will show on every seller line. They don't have control of that, and that's how these contracts and these agreements get missed and mixed up, is this ends up getting printed as the seller line, and this cannot be the seller line. Only John Smith can, because only John owns the property. And you would adopt and sign, and bada bing, bada boom, you would be ready to go. If novation of contract is the strategy that you are most interested in, or you are building a business around that, I teach a comprehensive full novation training with live Q&A. If you'd like to be notified when the next training is happening, or you'd like to get added to my email list so that you can get all of the value that I drop weekly in email form, please click the link below to sign up to be added to my email list. Or you can purchase my novation bundle for just $249 and start making offers today. My novation bundle includes the program documents that you would need instead of a novation indemnification, the script to pitch this for your seller so that you can pull this off, the script on how to properly vet an agent, and I'm even throwing in as a sweetener all of my email templates that I use when communicating with the agents and all of the parties. This is a no-brainer for investors looking to work with agents to close your deals. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and if you'd like to be notified when the next content is dropping, don't forget to hit the bell. We'll see you on the next one. Love you, mean it.